Waterford had a 231 to 219 win over Laois. They played nearly the whole game with only 14 men. Mikey Kiley was sent off for an off-the-ball incident in the first half. Neil Montgomery really stood up. He hit 1-3 from play. Thought he was borderline for steps for the goal, but it's mad when you have advantage. When you have advantage, it's almost like an unwritten rule that you get an extra 3 or 4 steps. So he'd been fouled and the hand was out. So it's almost like you get a grace of an extra couple of steps in that kind of instance. Ryan Malani hit 2-2 from play from a Laois point of view. This was really competitive for long stages. I don't know if you saw much of this, but the bits I saw of it was almost like, obviously this wasn't the case, but it almost looked like Laois wanted to play 14 versus 14. Some of the tackling was just up around the head, just treading a really, really thin line here. But it was a better showing from a Laois point of view. I suppose from Watford's point of view, playing with 14 men for he was sent off in the 6 minutes. So playing the next 64 with 14 men and finishing with 231 was impressive. Fintan, I have to ask you, what do you think about the man behind the wire?
It's pretty interesting. I wasn't aware of it as a concept until last week when you were kind of talking about it. Then I've seen some kind of suggestions that this was in use with Wexford. I know, did you go into that?
Yeah,
that
it was before, with Mark Fanning, yeah.
They used to be in different parts of the ground and all that kind of thing. If there's one thing, I think there's been various elements throughout his coaching career. Davey does kind of think outside the box, and he does kind of use these different types of ploys, and he does, kind of put everything into it in terms of kind of thinking about kind of different things and different ways to work. How much benefit it has in the far field in Dungarvan compared to Croke Park on a big championship day, I don't know as much, to be honest, and maybe it's easier as well in Portlaoise on a Saturday night in February when there isn't exactly kind of many there in terms of kind of information that's feeding into him, But interesting the amount that he got off his bench, if this was what the man was telling him, that we kind of need some kind of reinforcements to come in. That was the thing, like 11 points off your bench.
Serious, yeah.
And it probably shows as well the strength and depth that a top county like that has in comparison to a Laois or Westmeath, and how much that can be influential in kind of dictating a game, when it comes to the last quarter. The other thing that surfaced for me here, I think this is the start of like a very confusing time for hurling people with Waterford. We have Patrick Fitzgerald and Patrick Fitzgerald both coming into the fray. Both absolutely brilliant prospects. Like I know everyone's been going on about Patrick Fitzgerald, and he is absolutely superb from Ballygunner, and he's from the best club in Munster at the moment in hurling. Let alone the best club in Waterford. And then you Patrick Fitzgerald from a more football orientated club, generally Kilrossenty, but looks a really, really good prospect. And talking to a couple of people that have been working with him, he's rated really, really highly. Ruben Halloran came off the bench as well. He was pretty impressive, like I was seeing before Christmas. One of the few times Ballygunner have lost something at underage level in the under 20 in Waterford, and he was very, very good in the divisional final. And then I think I'm not sure the exact figure, but in the under 20 county final anyway last year in Waterford, he scored De La Salle's entire tally in the whole game.
Yeah, that's right,
as they won it. So that's 3 forwards, 2 Fitzgeralds and Halloran. Interesting how many of them can come into the fray. Obviously, Porrick Manny's okay. He wouldn't have been a regular starter maybe last year, but he's obviously retired now. Is there a gap for 1 or 2 of those to kind of come into the fray? And Davey isn't afraid to kind of throw young guys in. You think back to his first time in charge, he put Brian O'Halloran as an 18-year-old,
that's right,
19-year-old into starting an All-Ireland semi-final. So I'd be interested to see of those 3 who he kind of works with over the next couple of weeks, a couple of weeks and months. It kind of simply starts to commit to a starting place. But I'm predicting confusion ahead for the likes of us, Bernie, when it comes to which P. Fitzgerald has done well.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that Patrick Fitzgerald looks a bit too much like Desi Hutchinson as well, and they both wear white helmets. Like there should be a rule where there can't be 2 lads in the one line wearing the same helmet. But listen, that's another thing. Just a quick one. Davey had a comment on the man behind the wire, who was, I don't know if you saw the Buff Egan's video about the bouncers ejecting him. I find it comical how he calls the stewards bouncers. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But he just says So there was a mentor from David Fitzgerald's backroom team. I believe he was involved with him in Wexford as well. He was behind the goals in both halves, and David just says it's not for puckouts. I will totally refute that completely. He remarked, to get messages to the far side of the field is nearly impossible. So I can get a message from behind the goals to the cornerback. He will give it out to the wing back. We were able to do stuff. I can't understand why a steward is trying to move him. I just don't understand that. They want me off the field, not coming on, trying to make switches. All I'm trying to do is be innovative and come up with different ways around it so you can make a change. So if you want to make a change, you can make a change. Yeah, there is an odd puck out here and there that we might have a call on, but that is just telling him something we see from the stand. Normally, a Mayor Forna would run up to the goals and say, listen, we need to get the ball here and there. We can't do that anymore. I don't see it as any bad thing, to tell you the truth. In effect, he is passing a message on and just making a change. That's it. Listen, I think I like the Mayor Forna. I think it adds something to the game. I like seeing Paul Kinnerk run onto the pitch. I like seeing, remember, Dublin were having a bit of a meltdown against Kerry in the drawn game in 2019, and see Jason Sherlock coming in, and all of a sudden the tactic. I like that because it brings more characters into the game. I wouldn't be mad on a fella on the terrace with a headset relaying stuff that's my own opinion. I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't think it's in the spirit of the game, but I do think people are probably going to have to be creative to get their messages around onto the pitch.
He's been very vocal with this now for a good while. Like, he's been, like, him and Kylie, to be honest, have been two that have been really against the fact that this hasn't been brought in. I suppose the difficult enough for a GA, it's the tension between, there is obviously a deficiency in terms of managers not being able to kind of communicate with the players, and they're able to get around this, I suppose, during COVID when we had the water breaks in every quarter. They were able to kind of look into it. But I suppose there was incidents where it needed to be tidied up. You think of the Davy one in Nolan Park and the Gregory Kennedy one probably being the two that kind of stand out. And then on a more subtle level, there was, I think Eamon Fitzmaurice had a line. He described Tony McEntee was a good man to kind of drag his arse slowly off the pitch. Like, you know, McEntee used to, and it was, teams were doing this, you know, he used to, when he was at Mayo, I suppose allegedly, and I suppose kind of looking at it, you know, kind of fill that space.
He had a few of them, yeah, I remember. There was certain different Mayor Ford is filling that space in football in particular. When a keeper would look up,
Exactly, yeah. So it is a kind of a difficult one. Like, do you bring it back in and trust teams will kind of abide by it and use it for the spirit that it's intended? Let's face it, teams are going to push rules to the boundaries, and they got to manipulate stuff. But I would have sympathy for in the point he's making. It is very, very difficult. Like, if you lose a game narrowly and you're looking back on it, all it would have taken in your eyes maybe was a couple of small little positional things. I mean, you know, Vernie, look, I don't, you're the one that's played at the high level. I mean, trying to hear the guy next to you in a high octane kind of championship game, you know, big crowd in Croke Park or Portlaoise or wherever, you know, is very, very difficult. Like, so it is tricky, but I think whatever he's going to try and keep doing, whatever different ways he can to try and get messages across.